Viewers, and welcome back to the South Main Auto Channel. What we've got here is a 2011 Chevrolet. It's the Impala, and the guy bought it. It's fresh off the chopping block from the auction. That's my used car guy. It has no license plates on it. We can't drive it, but the story I'm told, he bought it, got a good deal on it, of course. And transmission, I guess, was smoked in it. He took it to a local transmission rebuilder. They rebuilt the transmission. And now we got some issues. And that being ABS traction light, as Marie explained it to me, the little car with the squiggly lines behind it. So that light's on. She has brought the car in, plugged it in, did an auto scan on it, and it appears that we have no codes in anything except the engine control and transmission. So we will go to the report and we'll see what it's reporting. And this is the engine control module, so that's 3 faults. We have a large evap leak, which probably has nothing to do with the transmission, but that is a current code. We have a loss of comm with ABS control module, which is a current code, and control module communication bus off, which is a pass and pass, so that must be like a history code. So those are codes that are in the engine controller. Let me scroll down, so transmission, loss of comm with EBCM, so lost comm with ABS module, failed in current, and loss of comm with ECM, which is pass and passed. So it appears, from what I see, I'll give you guys a little glance at that. That is in the transmission side of things. It appears when I look at this that besides the large evap leak, it has lost communication. So what we've got here is failure to communicate. Little cool hand Luke for you. Or poison, you know, if you listen to Poison. But that's where that came from. History lesson for you. And if I go back here to, I had her doing a little system scan. I don't know, I was doing some other stuff. In control, trainee, supplemental body. I do not see the EBCM. I do not see the brake control module in our list of scanned items. So we're going to exit out of here. We're going to go to control unit. We're going to pick electronic brake module. We're going to pick trouble codes, read codes, and I'm betting it's going to say that we have a failure to communicate. Device unable to communicate. So there, we have a no comm with the ABS module. So that's where we're going to look. Obviously, we'll look at the large evap leak because he's going to want that fixed too. But as we always do, or as you should do when you bring this in, and we got a couple codes, we are going to go in to the generic side of things because we want to see how many monitors are not set. Oops. Go back to vehicle status. So we will have, I'll show you here, monitors, codes found 0. I don't know how that's happening. Monitors okay, 5. Monitors incomplete, 3. So it has not had a full drive cycle. So that's good to know. Why on earth it says there are no codes is beyond me. Let me go to diagnostic trouble codes and FFD, which is freeze frame data. And we're going to see if that is true. Nope, there they are. Pending, large leak. Permanent, large leak.
I wonder if there's leak.
I'm thinking there is. Permanent codes because it's newer than a 2010. Way to go, Idaho.
Thanks.
That's your mode 10 data. So, why it doesn't show the failure to communicate in generic, I don't know, but that is something that we have to fix. So let's fix it.
Make it talk.
Yeah.
It looks new. It's shiny.
Well, it's used car, right? That's what they do.
Oh, they look new. That's
So, we know we don't have, I'm going to get back into our OEM data here, 11 GM. Diagnose. We fill out any information it wants. So our ABS module lives right up top, easy to get to, good one to diagnose. So we're dealing with a no communication issue. This should work on the GM high-speed CAN. So it should be on the same data network as the transmission and other high-speed items. We'd have to look at a wire diagram, which we can do. But long story short, we go like gosh. What we need to do as far as communication, you know, why can't we talk to it? Do we have powers, grounds, wake-up signal? If it has some kind of wake-up to say, hey, wake up. Not by, you know, wake people up by choking them, but so powers, grounds, wake-up signal, and ability to communicate. Do we have CAN wires in, CAN wires out? You know, that's easy check that we can do right from the data link connector. We can make sure our Net total network resistance is at 60 ohms, which would indicate that we have, you know, good connection there anyways. But let's get a diagram. Let's see what we have. And I mean, this can be as simple as, you know, blown fuse. He tells me that when he bought the car, prior to having the transmission work done, that he had no problem. So, you know what I know. So grab us the diagram. We are going to unplug the ABS module, just because it's very easy to get to. It is unplugged.
That's like the easiest connector I've ever seen.
In the world. And we have, according to the wire diagram, we have 2 powers, 2 grounds. And they're both full time. I do not see a key on power. All right? And they're both high current. And so I don't really care which terminals they are, because I know it's going to be some of these big honky ones, because they're both big fuses. So we're going to go with the big, I don't know if these are power and ground here. Maybe it's spread out side to side. Let's see. Nothing there. Nothing there. Is the key on, young lady? It shouldn't.
Yes.
It shouldn't matter anyways.
Key is on. I'm gonna double check. Because remember the last time I said that?
Well, does my test light work? That is the next question.
Key's on.
It shouldn't matter, it is, because those are both full-time hotties.
Oh,
Okay.
yep, it works.
All right. So no combination thereof, which I've done down here, lights the light. Which it should be these 2 big terminals here. That one should be a power and a ground. So if I stick it in one and bounce around to the others, it should light. In which case it don't. And we could get a diagram, a pin out, and see who's who here, but frankly I know it's going to be one of those. So that's interesting. Let's look at the wires into the back here. Those are black with white stripes. Black with white is supposed to be ground. So the 2 here, looking at the connector, if you guys are even in frame, the ones on the left are grounds. These should be powers on this side, and they're not. How is it that both powers are dead when they're 2 independent separate fuses? Those are grounds. Very interesting. Let me get a jump wire. Gonna go up the schmalk though, be careful. Can we reach battery positive? Hook that up to the battery plus. It ain't gonna hurt you. Ain't gonna hurt you, Reed.
I am.
Oh.
Listen. It's not.
Okay, I know you hate batteries.
Oh, okay. See, that's why.
Okay, so now we got power. We're gonna see if our ground's good over here. So it should be these back 2. Oh, I can't see crap. Da-da. Getting my finger. There we go. We got a ground. We got no ground. We got no ground.
Hey.
Oh yeah, mother loving kid. Let's go over here. Let's hook us up a ground. Do not hook that on the red wire.
I did not hook it on the red.
Alright. So we hook this one up. Now we're gonna see if we got power. Whoa!
Oh, we got power. It's bad ground.
Wham bambino. That's why we start there. Okay, so this is results of a dirty transmission guy. Alright, because Marie, when we look at the diagram here, we see 2 grounds. Pin number 25. That's G115. Pin 1, G115. They both go to the same place. Where does it say that they go, Marie?
Transmission. On transmission case below brake booster.
On transmission case below the brake
You didn't
booster.
hook it up?
More than likely.
Oh, but I made that mistake one time, so I can't blame him.
There's the brake booster. There's the transmission case.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And there's the ground wire. We'll give it a classic reach under. Classic move.
Can't see it.
It's hooked up. See it?
Oh, that stinks. Oh
Right
yeah,
down there.
okay, he did hook it up. You can get mad at him.
Oh no, we can still be mad at him. Still
Okay.
his fault.
Okay. Then I'm gonna retain my anger toward him.
Yes, be angry.
Okay.
Vengeance is mine.
I won't go that far.
Get a test light. Get the one with the vice grip on it.
Okay. Give them a
So
better
we
view.
come down there. Enhance. Enhance. That's G115 right there. Top of the transmission case below the brake booster. So I'm assuming that's it. I'm trying to hold you guys here. I have the test light. Let me get it worked under here. And let's see. I'm trying to look through the viewfinder. Our transmission case appears to have a ground. Okay. Touch transmission case. Touch near the stud. Oops. It's a little crusty. Whoa, son of a... Hang on, fellas. This is kind of a difficult, awkward position. Let's see. It's touched below that thing. We are hooked to battery power with our test light lights there. Okay, let's touch the bolt. Oink zoinks! We've got no ground on the bolt. What are the frickin' odds of that, you know? Bolt's in the case, it's tightened up. What is that bolt made of? Plastic? Because we have no ground there. But we have a ground right below it. So, what's that say? Let's crack it loose and tighten it up. While you were in the office, Maria, I proved that it was bad.
Oh, how?
With test light.
Oh, okay.
And then we're gonna crack it loose. Son of a mother! They had it snug. That was good.
Hey, at least they tried. That's all you can do sometimes.
Oh, you know what though?
What?
It feels like, you know
You
what?
want the little tiny ratcheting one? I can just reach down and do that.
Do you know what's better than Loctite, Marie?
Ooh, cross thread.
Yeah, because this thing is tight.
Can I do it with the little ratchety wrench?
Well, just a minute, because I got it all cross-threaded in here. It's probably the wrong bolt.
Why would that make such a difference?
Because it probably bottomed out and then stripped. So let's just try something here.
Okay, so it is his fault. I'm back to blaming him.
Let's just see if that's tight. That's tight. Sometimes just giving it a crack loose. I don't want to take it out because that thing is definitely cross-threaded in there.
And then you gotta go through all the work of...
Well, I wouldn't helicoil it. We would just put the ground wire in a different bolt that's not cross-threaded.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna tighten that up like a tiger. Where's my test light? Come here. Let's see if that worked. Hey, what do you say,
Hey,
huh?
wow.
Lights up now.
That's great.
Light
like a
bright.
Christmas tree. Tis the year. Tis the year, wow.
Like the
Tis
dashboard
time.
on most of my customers' cars. Okay. Why would you even doubt me, Marie?
I wasn't doubting you. I was just putting room for possibility. Because you never know what Chevys have up their sleeves.
You do know that's a fix because we proved it.
Yeah, but how do you know there's not something else?
There could be. This is
That's
this
what I'm
fix.
saying.
This
That's
is
what I'm
this
saying, that there
fix.
could be something else.
Into the ground. Into the power. Son of a...
So, back to doubting you.
Shush it.
Alright, I'm being quiet now.
Shush it, shush it. Because what could have happened here, and this is a good example, folks. I am willing to bet, even though we went down there with our test light, and it lit, I'm willing to bet that it no longer does. Let me go down here.
Shoot.
Well, now listen, this is a valuable
I'm
lesson.
listening.
Listen, this is a valuable lesson in voltage drop and why test lights are bad. Because I'm willing to bet, this is my hypothesis, that if we go down here with a 750 milliamp load and we hold it, and then we remove this and our light will light. And it don't.
Alright, well, I'm still...
And it does.
Oh, wait, what? Okay,
Okay.
got it.
That is a lesson in voltage drop. That ground is bad. It only has the ability to carry enough current to light this light.
But it doesn't have enough to talk to this.
It doesn't have enough to light this light. This light requires 4 amps. This light requires 750 milliamps.
Gotcha.
So you can have a really crappy ground, still light your test light. This is why you test circuits when they're loaded
talked
or when
about
they
this, yeah.
load in place. So therefore, we have to do it the proper way and remove the bolt, do what we have to do. We're going to take the bolt out, even though it's stripped. We will take it out. Probably will not go back in that hole. We'll end up moving the ground and cleaning it so we actually have a good fix. We tried to be cheap, and that's what you get. Oh, not too bad. Not stripped out too bad, fella. You're just being a Sally. No, it's pretty well pooched. Lots of aluminum buried in these threads. I do imagine this is the wrong bolt. It appears to have bottomed out and chowdered up the bottom half of the threads, so friggin' rookies. So I'm going to move this. Actually, the top portion of the threads look well. I'm going to get a different bolt. It's just an 8 by 125 millimeters for our metric folks. We will get one that is slightly shorter. I will clean up the top side of the hole, and we'll use a new bolt, new washer, and then we should have enough current carrying capability. Go upstairs, get an 8125 bolt that is not as long as that one.
Okay.
Okay, take that with you.
Taking it.
Bring a washer.
Got it.
You got it. What? Boss? You got it, boss. Oh, she's shiny. Ah. Better shine up that eyelet. I can give it the old reach down. There it is. Shiny. Shiny. Both sides are shiny. Bright and shiny. What's that noise?
Blowing bubbles.
Okay, let me see that.
There you go.
Ooh, that's better.
Yep.
So we're gonna install the new bolts.
Shiny.
This time, it should work.
Don't cross thread.
I'm not, Marie.
I just want to make sure that you're better than the last guy.
Going in. Whoa, fella.
Is that working?
Not well. There we go. That's according to spec. Take that, young lady. And meow.
Can I test light it?
No. No.
Ah, come on.
Burn your fingers. Okay, this time it's going to work, fellas, because we did it right.
Wow, there it is.
Check the other ground. Go to the other orifice. Now, if we plug that back in. Oh yeah, we got the dinger dinging.
I heard it.
Dinging on the ding dong. Now if we back out, yes, we want to exit. We'll go to control unit, EBCM, trouble codes, read codes. Survey says,
Bum, 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 bum.
boom,
Wait, what?
right front wheel speed sensor circuit. So it has codes in it, but the good news is we can talk to it. So what we will do now is I'm just going to do another auto scan just to see. I believe those are the only two ground wires on it, so they should be the only ones. The only thing that should have affected is the ABS.
That's amazing that one ground can cause that many issues.
Maybe there is actually, with all the wires in your car, there's actually one wire that you can short out that will prevent throw the whole thing into a tizzy.
What wire is that?
Like one of the high-speed CAN wires. You know, they're very small wires. You could just take it and very lightly scuff it and short
You
it to
kidding
ground,
me?
and everything's done. You got nothing.
That's horrible.
It is. That's technology, lady. That's what the people want. They want their creature comforts. They want their entertainment. We don't drive cars anymore.
No, we just ride.
We just ride.
Yeah.
Like Rango. Let's ride. So the EBCM, yeah, so I can just get my report here. It says we have 4 codes in the electronic control module now. What do we have? Evap leak.
Oh, yeah,
Some
I forgot about that.
loss of comms. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear the codes so our device low voltage code that we have in the EBCM is passed, but we have a right front speed sensor code and then our gross leak. So we're going to back out. I'm going to do a quick erase because we know what our codes are. The only ones that should come back is going to be in the brake module for that right front speed sensor.
Ooh.
I imagine it will be.
Why does it make that noise?
When it resets the ABS module.
Oh.
So we have 1 code left in it, minus the large leak, which we know, but we also know that we can have other codes because the drive cycle isn't done. So right front wheel speed sensor circuit, let's have a little look-see at that, because that is the other spot the transmission guy would have been.
Oh, man.
Oh, he is up the creek today, Marie.
That's rough.
Poor little fella.
Yeah.
Oh well, we all make mistakes. How do you know it was really at the transmission shop? Because of the transmission fluid it leaks.
Oh, that's what that is.
So we're under here at the right front wheel. Before we touch anything, don't go touching anything. We're going to open up some live data. For ABS, I'm going to open it up here. And we're going to make sure indeed that this right front wheel does or does not work.
The wheel works.
Yes, the wheel works. The left front speed sensor is reading. However, the right front isn't.
It sounds bad, dude.
Yeah, so it's probably hitting the backing plate. Sounds like. Okay, so we know it's not working. Should be a VR style, variable reluctance style sensor. It should create its own electricity. So now we're gonna have a look at it to see if anything looks out of place. And I see lots of green boogers.
Ooh, get the booger sucker.
Oh yeah, she is green and crusty. Yes, that connector is green and crusty. And it's really green and crusty up in that joint. So let's see something here. Come to pop, there we go. Oh yes,
Oh my.
she's crusty. Not bad, not horrible. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot of things in my life. So what we're gonna do, you can buy these harnesses, relatively inexpensive, but you got a T-pin?
T-pin? I do.
You got one right in your hat. Look
I
at you.
do.
You're like a little diagnostician, Marie. Marie's going off to automotive school, for those of you that are wondering. Because she likes to make poor choices.
Yeah, and I like to not make money.
But you'd like to not make. Lisa, I'm not lying to you, Marie.
I know.
We're going to give that a little scrapey scrape. In over there on the American side of the toolbox, the next drawer up, does that have electronical devices in it?
Yeah.
There should be a little black wallet looking thing, about the size of a man's wallet. Yes, that there.
Ooh, it's got me, doesn't it?
Oh, you do have tweezers here.
Those aren't tweezers. So I'm just...
They would work for it.
They probably would.
These are my eyebrows. Alright, which size do you need?
Medium sized.
You have more options for tweezers than we do. What are they called?
Those are terminals cleaners.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just scraping a little bit off the female half here because I do not have a terminal cleaner for there. But however, I find that a T-pin with a slightly frigged up end on it, I don't know what else to call it, you just go in and kind of give it a little scratch off some of the goo. We could spray some deoxit in it, which we will do, but okay, there's that.
BRB.
There's people here. And then I'm going to use terminal cleaner right here. These are little diamond coated things.
Hey Eric, that's Superman's tricycle.
Oh, okay.
And I'll let it take back on.
Perfect.
So you want to leave it for now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Going in there to give it itchy scratchies. Lady dropped off her Subaru to have an engine light fixed, but conveniently the AutoZone cleared it before she got here, so I said, drive it till the light comes on, lady. So she did. There's that. I don't know if this is a problem, but it's easy enough to do. Let me go get some deoxit. That didn't work. It doesn't make the same noise, but it's some deoxit gold G5. Give her a little spritz in there, let it foam and sizzle, do whatever it does. Let that sit for a little bit. I think it has some kind of contact enhancer in it also. No, it's just mineral spirits. Odorless mineral spirits, it says. Huh. That little toot. Give that a little toot. Plug it up. All right. Spin it. Still no worky, so. All right.
Clean it out, it doesn't work?
Huh?
Clean it out, it doesn't work?
Yeah, clean it out, it doesn't work, but it's always worth a try. We
Yep.
should have went with the data, but we didn't. Let me get a meter. So I have just your classic DVOM here. And just going off memory here, but usually these sensors are around, oh gosh, excuse me, lunch, 1200 ohms-ish. So we're gonna put it on the ohmage scale. Let me move this light so it's better for you. Will you hold that, young lady?
Yep.
I'm gonna go in here and go across these pins. There's pin 1. There's pin 2.
Oh,
We have 6.45, right?
Yeah.
What's the letter after that?
M.
M for mega ohms, so 6.2, roughly it's bouncing around, 6.1 mega ohms.
Keeps going down.
That is a lot of resistance. Now let's go here because we don't know what good is. We're just basing it off my assumption that it is around 1200 ohms. We will come here and unplug the known good that they have zip tied. Oh, lights on.
Wow.
We'll come into this one. Son of a hooski. There's a lot of dinging going on up there.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
It's not really talking to us. Hold on. Nope, nope.
No?
No, 1.014.
1.014 what? K?
Okay.
Kilo ohms, so 1,014 ohms. That
So,
was pretty
I don't
close
know.
with my guess. That's perfect.
Close only counts in horseshoes and mini grenades.
And atomic bombs.
Oh yeah, I was forgetting that one.
So that was a good assumption I made. I usually VR's type sensors 1,000, 1,200 ohms ish. You can tell I mean ish because I'm doing this with my hand. This one is in the mega ohm department over here. So it has almost infinite resistance. Lots of resistance. It is the piece of resistance. I love the Lego movie. It's a great movie. So this side needs a new wheel bearing because it has an integrated, speed sensor. It would also be my recommendation is to get, a new connector. We cleaned the crud out of it. We could probably put some, what's the contact enhancer we have? Stabilant 22. We could put some Stabilant 22 in there. These harnesses are wicked cheap and frankly they break a lot because they have this hard plastic coating on them, as you can see underneath here. And typically these are broken anyways, so it would be my suggestion just to get the connector, get the new bearing, and be good with it. Now we could test this circuit to make sure the car is happy with it by simply placing a 1,000 ohm resistor across it. That would tell us if our wiring's good. Now what do I mean by that? We're going way too far out here. We're stretching this out too far. I believe that will work. We're gonna go to trouble codes. We should have codes for both wheels at this point because we unplugged the other side.
That'd be really great.
Good pun. Left front wheel speed sensor circuit passed. Okay, so let's take, I'm gonna clear the codes. Yes, we wanna delete it. Okay, we're gonna reread the codes. Now we should have just the right front speed sensor code in there. Okay, and we do. All right, now let's just try to trick it. Let's try to be tricky. Tricky Ricky Stern gets the whole shot. Do you know what that's from?
No.
Excite Bike 64,
What is that?
Nintendo 64.
Oh,
Tricky Ricky Stern, he was my favorite rider on that game. So we're gonna take, I put a light across it just to complete the circuit. So let's erase the codes. It may not be happy with this.
probably not.
We're gonna read the codes. Right front wheel speed sensor circuit. Okay, let's substitute a 1,000 ohmage resistor and see what it does. So we have our variable resistor here. I have it set to around 1,000 approximately. Hope there's no current through this because it'll go up in smoke if there is. I didn't smell any smoke. So we have that in there. We're going to erase the codes. The codes are erased. And then we're going to reread the codes. We'll see what it does. It may or may not be happy with this, but it is. No fault codes detected because we have tricked it. We have put 1,000 ohms of resistance in series with the circuit, so it thinks it's working well, even though it's not. So just to prove that, we pull that out. Oh, you hear the dinger going off in the car. Now we reread the codes, and it should have a code for the right front speed sensor, and it does. So what does that tell us? That tells us, all of this is good. All the wiring from here to the EBCM is good. We don't have to do any testing because we just did substituted loads. Even though we didn't load it. Substituted value, something, whatever you want to call it. We faked it, we tricked it out. We have a bad wheel bearing, which we already proved. So, but again, I would get this connector anyways. just because we know it was green and crusty. You saw it, I saw it, we all saw it. Everybody's seen it. Okay, on to the evap leak. When have you known me to not be serious, young lady?
Like 98% of the time. Okay, 95.
I'm always serious. So we're going after the large evap leak. You may or may not have noticed this, but I have a big nose. And I don't smell an evap leak when I'm under it. Usually if there's a gross leak, I can sniff it out. I did what they call a VI. That's what we call it. Visual inspection, the VI. In my experience, usually these canister vent valves go wonky. So we're gonna go into the active tests. We're gonna go to vent solenoid. Maria's doubting me because this would be the third one we've done today. If
It
this
just
is
seems
it.
excessive.
Okay, let's be quiet. Everybody quiet. Oh, did you hear a click, Marie? You
No,
didn't.
I didn't.
So we are not venting. Venting. Not venting.
Kidding me?
Venting. So this begs the question, why then does it not
But
have...
we have to check our control and power.
Listen,
What?
you gotta let me finish.
I'm letting you finish.
Shusher.
I'm shushing.
Why do we not have, what codes do we have today? P0449 on one car, and we had a P0446 on the other, and they were both what type of codes?
Oh, circuit
Codes. They were both circuit codes. So we have our canister vent valve up here, but we have a gross leak code, but we don't have a circuit code.
Right.
Because, why don't we have a circuit code, Marie? Marie, you're gonna piss me off. We talked about this.
I know we talked
You're
about
supposed to be
this.
going to school
I know,
because
I'm
we
listening.
need to know what the computer's looking for to set a circuit code. The computer's looking for power in.
Yep.
Power goes into the little coil.
Yep,
Remember
yep,
we talked
yep,
about this?
yep,
Power
yep.
comes back out, goes to the computer. Computer says, hey, there's 12
Sky
volts there.
high.
I'm happy. Everybody's happy.
Yep.
Therefore,
So everybody's happy.
everybody's happy. The
Yes.
circuit's not broken. It's not open circuited. That's why we don't have a circuit code. So let's go like this first, because we know that thing's not working. Let's just,
Raise it up a little more for you, or you want me to bring it down?
now you're just being cocky. Go like that. Let's see if it works now. Nope, it
You've
doesn't.
had a shortcut for every single one of these things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, let's raise this thing up a little higher. Let's unplug it. Why won't you unplug? We let the car down.
Sure. Or I could grab the bucket for you like I used.
Give me the bucket. It's right there. I'll use the bucket.
Yeah.
Whoa. Freaking light. Can you guys even see? Do you even know what's going on? I'm up here. Let me unplug this, fellas. And you'll see. Okay, there we are. We are unplugged. This is the plug-in for the canister vent valve.
Wait, we have the other light.
Yes, we cannot use the high amperage light. Why? Because the ECM will shut it off, remember?
Right. You gotta say that. This is probably not that light.
So this is the plugger for the canister vent valve. You find it?
Found it.
Quick like a bunny. People are waiting. We got things to diagnose. We got more cars to fix. So we're gonna very gingerly front probe this.
Very gingerly.
Very gingerly. We're very gingerly in there with a 200 milliamp load, and we will turn it on.
Oh.
Hallelujah.
Oh, this was just like the other one. We had power, we had control.
We have power and we have control. That's the two things every mechanic wants, Maria's power and control.
I'm sure that'll come to me.
It will in time, Marie. So that's it. We can take and make the assessment that our canister vent valve is bad. We cannot hear it clicking, and these are very what did I tell you the other one was going to be? Very
Audible?
very audible.
You don't have to mouth the words to me. Just give me 2 seconds.
Yep, so these canister vent valves are usually quite...
There's like click.
No, it's more like...
Okay. You're pretty good with your noises by now.
And I'm turning it off and on
We can't hear it.
and off
It's
and
not
on.
working.
And there we go. So we don't have a circuit code because it is not open circuited. It may be high in resistance.
Okay, wait though. Then why was there a circuit code on the other one?
Let me get my clipboard. The race earlier lesson from today, Marie.
Yep.
We're gonna hate the fact that you get private lessons.
Super accurate diagram too.
Yes. This is gonna be a very generic, very condensed explanation as to why we don't have a circuit code with this car, but we did on the previous two vehicles we fixed today. One being a Ford, another one being a Chevrolet, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
but GM.
GM, Chevy, it's all the same junk.
I know.
Over here we have the brain box, as people like to call it.
Okay.
So we have the ECM. This is who's making all the decisions. This is the guy who's in control of
The money light.
the money light. Okay? Over here we have our canister vent valve. I should not have wrote that right there because it's in my space I need. We have the canister vent valve, or the CVV as I like to call it. And over here we have the FB, the fuse box. From the fuse box, we have a battery plus that comes out from a fuse. It goes into our canister vent valve. Inside here, this is a coil of wire.
Yep.
So it's an electromagnet that opens and closes and makes the
Yes.
clicking sound.
Right.
In order for it to make electromagnetic force and open it, we have to have power coming in, and then there's the other side of the coil comes out, and it goes to the brain box.
Yes.
So we have.
And when you don't have connection to here, that's when it throws the light and the circuit
You
code.
betcha.
Okay.
So we have battery
But before
plus.
there was a circuit code and there was full connection.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Shush.
Okay.
We have battery power coming out of our fuse box. It comes up, it goes in, it goes through the coil of wires around and around, then it comes back out, and it goes to the brain box. And when it is key on, engine off, the brain box comes down and says, hey, I'm not commanding this wire on. I should have how many volts here?
12.
Battery voltage, more particularly. So we should have, with no ground applied to this, we should have 12 volts in through the coil of wire, because without current flow, there will be no voltage drop. So we come in, we have 12 volts going in, all the squigglies, we have it coming out, going to the brain box. The brain box is in here. There's actually a little man that lives in here with his meter and clipboard, and he goes around and he says, oh, hook my meter here. Okay, we have 12 volts, we will not set a circuit code.
Yeah.
And then he moves on to the next item. But when he comes by, or better yet, this is broken, now the 12 volts going in, now this is coming out, and it's at 0 volts, because this is broken.
Okay.
Now he has his meter and he says, emergency, emergency. And then he turns this light on, because he sees that the brain box is saying, I'm not commanding you on. I should have 12 volts there.
So the coils were broken in the
Yeah,
one
the
that I
coils,
had.
yeah,
Okay.
the coils are broken here. We have 12 volts in, but we have nothing coming
Yeah.
out of it.
Okay.
So it says, what in the thunder? And we set the classic P0449, or in the case of the Ford, the P0446.
Okay, so then this one, then we have no circuit code, which
Correct.
means the coil must be intact.
Everything must be intact. unless
And
it's
there
full.
is power and control.
Correct.
So what would be bad on it?
A high amount of resistance. Good question, Marie. I'm not a teacher, so I don't really know how to explain all this stuff.
You're doing a
But
great job.
in this case, this guy's still happy. We'll just get rid of him. We'll just assume he's going through doing all his checks.
He's doing checks.
We have battery voltage going in. We must have voltage coming out, because we can check to see if it has ran the 449, because this is a GM and this is one of the great things about them. We'll go to trouble codes.
Can we mark the day that you said there's something great about GM?
There's a lot of things great, Marie. It's bought me a house and a business, and it's going to put my kids through college. What's not to like? GM, General Mess. We're going to go in here and see if we can, we'll go to additional DTCs, and we will see if it has ran the P0449. P04. Boom.
Oh,
It has
that's
ran.
why it hasn't thrown it.
No, it has ran. If it had not run,
Wait a
it would be
minute.
on this list.
Oh, if it had not run. Okay.
Yes. So these are all codes that have not run. So the
Okay.
449 has ran,
Oh.
and it has passed. So our EVAP circuit code is not there because it's happy with it.
Okay.
Okay?
It's just not working.
Yep. So we can have, typically these are around, let's say 30 ohms is good.
is the little door that's supposed to be opening and closing, maybe that's just stuck?
Nope, it doesn't even matter. That doesn't affect the circuit. We're just looking at the electrical side of things. So let's say these are around normally 30 ohms. We could do the math and figure it out. I'm just guessing. But let's say this was 20,000 or 2,300 ohms. We still have power coming in and power coming out, because the resistance really doesn't matter at this point until a certain degree, because there is a resistor in here. It gets kind of complicated, but let's just say this one is high resistance, which we can check it, and it probably is. We still have power coming in, going through all the squigglies, even though it's a little harder for them to go through. We still have 12 volts coming out, and this little guy with his clipboard and his meter, he's in here, and he still reads an acceptable voltage inside the brain box. So that's why we don't have a circuit code. So if we go back, we can check the resistance on it, and it is my assumption that it will be high. Let's see, I'm gonna unplug this. Maria's answering the phone.
Okay.
And we are going to check the resistance on it. Come here, Mary. Hold the meter. I'm going to go up in there. Let's see, there's our meter at 0.
Yeah.
It's all zeros.
It's all zeros with like a little tiny one that comes up every
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to touch across these.
Oh, what do we got here? Yeah.
Let me see, shine it at my face. Oh, it is at 22 ohms. Okay, 21 ohms. Woe is me. Woe is me, my hypothesis is wrong. Okay, so we are at 21 ohms. Okay, so let's plug this back in. We're going to back out. What was that?
I don't know.
It sounded like Josh farted, like wicked loud. If that was a fart,
Like
he
some awesome
should
burgers.
high five him,
You like I need?
because I would high five him.
Or
He
maybe
better
just-
own that if he came over.
You maybe just move something.
So we're turning it on and off, still no clicking. Let's have another hypothesis. So the other hypothesis, Marie, is that nothing is wrong. I guess it was about 30 ohms, and it's not, clearly. So we have what, 22 ohms?
what
Wait a
might be
minute,
the
whoa. We have 22 ohms. That's
Okay.
what we know.
Yes.
That's why we don't have a circuit problem, because all the windies are
Uh-huh.
good. They're
Okay.
within a reasonable spec.
Okay. So what are you thinking might be the problem? But
The other problem that could be is that the little flappy that opens and closes could be physically stuck.
rewind 5 minutes when I suggested that.
You said, I thought you said, could that set a circuit code? And the answer is no.
I'll have to rewind the video and see.
We will look. So
Okay.
if we take our voltage, which is 11.98,
Oh.
we'll round off to 12,
Okay.
22. Got your smarty phone?
I have a smartphone. 12 divided by
Volts,
22
22
is
ohms.
0.54545454.
Half an amp. That's how much current is drawing. That's why it does not have a circuit code, because everything is intact and it is physically stuck.
Physically.
Physically stuck. That's why we don't have a circuit code. Hope you're happy. Are we
I
done?
am super happy.
Jeez, talk about wasting time. All right, folks, so that's it. Quick and dirty on the used car. We fixed the no-com with the ABS module as a result of the transmission guy or his worker or whatever. So that was an easy fix. Regained communication with ABS. We found the source of the gross leak and determined the cause of the right front wheel speed sensor. So I don't know if that's gonna have me do it. Sometimes I do his work, sometimes I don't. A lot of times I just diag and ship it off to the other guy that he goes to, who works for a little bit less money than I do. So wheel bearing, canister vent valve needs to be replaced, and then it needs to have the drive cycle done, because we could have a ton of other codes. When I was scrolling through that list to see if the 449 was set, all of those other codes in there were our circuit tests that have not been run yet. So there is a lot of potential for other issues. You know, we could have, we didn't see what monitors weren't set, so we can't make assumptions, but I can assume, you know, catalyst, you know, two sensors, a lot of things that could be wrong. And of course, he's gonna have to take it back to the transmission guy and have the leak fixed before it puddles all over my floor. So, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe it was dumb, maybe you didn't understand anything. Trying to help a young lady here along before she is off to technical school to be a mechanic for whatever reason. And how about you go down to that comment box for whatever reason, leave your questions, comments, criticisms, concern while you're down there, subscribe and ring that bell. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.